arm and a bald patch at the top of her head. And when I say a bald patch, like a literal bald patch. They said, did you take these pictures? She said, yeah. They said, why you take it? She said, because I saw it on my body. They said, have you gotten bruises before while you were drunk? She said, yeah. And they said, have you taken pictures before of your bruises while you were drunk? And that you got while you were drunk? And she said, I don't know if I took pictures then. I don't remember. But I did this time. They said, didn't you tell us that you had gotten bruises from Tori assaulting you? She said, yeah, that's what I told you. They said, why did you take a photo of your head with the bald patch? They said, because I had a bald patch. Kelsey said, because I had a bald patch and I've gotten bald spots before and I wear a lot of ponytails. So I was just looking at the bald patch in my head and I took a picture of the bald patch. They said, didn't you call somebody that you was talking to when y'all was in the car and you told them that you just wanted them to be on the line and you left the line open because you were scared and you wanted them to be able to hear what was happening? She said, I did call somebody, but I did not call them for that reason or at that time. She said, I called them once the police sirens popped up and there was a whole bunch of shit going on with the police. She said, that's when I called him and I put him on the phone so he could hear what was happening with that. They said that Megan had her leg on her in the car. So they said, did Megan bleed on you? She said, I don't know. So they showed a picture of Kelsey with blood on her leg. She said, I don't know who blood that is. They said, was Megan bleeding in the car? Kelsey said, no. They showed the photos of the blood in the car because in these photos, there's a towel that soaked with blood. The console has soaked loosely, but it had blood on it. There was some blood droplets on her suitcase, and there was blood on the console. So they said, do you recognize this? Kelsey said, no. They said, were there bloody towels in the car? She said, to my knowledge, no. But mind you, she was sitting in the back seat with Megan, and that's where the towels were found, on the floorboard of the back seat. But she said, to my knowledge, no. She said, that is my suitcase in the picture, but I don't know who blood that is on there. They said, was Megan bleeding? She said, yeah, but I don't know where from. And I never asked her what she was bleeding from. They said, did Tori tell you to shut up when you got back in the car? She said, yes. And they said, why did he tell you to shut up? She said, because I was drunk and crying. No, she said, because I was crying. They said, why were you crying, Kelsey? She said, because I was drunk. Okay. They said, once the sirens pulled up, Kelsey, didn't you tell us that Tori said, I got a big deal coming up. I'll give both of y'all $1 million. She don't recall all this shit. They said in September you knew, but today you don't know. They said, were you being truthful that day in September when we had this interview? She said, about some things. And then she said, I wasn't truthful about other things to protect myself. They said, what are you trying to protect yourself from, Kelsey? She said, a variety of things. They said, a variety of things like what? Kelsey could not produce an answer. She just said a variety of things. She said, I don't want to incriminate myself. They said, did you shoot Megan? She said, no. They said, what weren't you truthful about? She said, I didn't see him do it. They said, how does that incriminate you? She didn't have an answer. They said, were you scared to come up here? She said, no, but I would just rather not be in LA. It gives me anxiety. They said, Kelsey, you do understand that you're under oath, right? She said, yeah. They said, you didn't realize that Megan was bleeding? She said, no. They say your eyelash is pretty. They are. He looked like he got on falsies. So they said, was anybody else bleeding in the car? She said, I don't know. I didn't see anybody bleeding. And then she said, I did not see Tori shoot Megan. They said, Kelsey said, I was in a panic and I sent that text. They said, why did you say that Tori did it? She said, I was in a panic. They said, were you in a panic in September? She said, no. They said, when Tori offered Megan $1 million, didn't she say, huh? She said, I don't know. They said, when the police came, were they aggressive with you? She said, yeah. They said, and didn't you tell them, don't put your knee in my back? She said, yeah. They say, didn't you tell the police, no, didn't you tell us that your adrenaline was high after you got handcuffed and that you wasn't worried about yourself because you was worried about Megan at the time? She said, yeah. They said, didn't you say that you didn't think about yourself? You were worried about Megan. And she said, yeah. And they said, what happened after that? After she got out of the county? They said, what happened after that scene on the curb and shit with the police? She said, I was taken to the county jail. They said, were you swabbed for gunshot residue? She said, I don't remember that. And then they say, didn't you tell us when we took you in the room to question you that you want a lawyer because that's what people ask for on movies and on TV? And she said, yeah. They said, what happened after that? They said after she got, released from the police station, Megan's manager, Gilly or Jilly, I don't remember how they pronounced it, but maybe Gilly because I put a G. So Megan's manager, Gilly, picks her up and took her to her apartment. And so they said, was there a specific reason you went over there? They was like, no, that's just where we went. And she said that her shirt was ripped, and so the woman gave her a shirt. They said, how did your shirt get ripped? She said, it was a blur. I don't recall. They said, didn't you say that it was because you had gotten into a fight? She said, yeah. They say, did Quan say something to you? They only allowed her to say yes. They did not allow her to say what Quan said to her when she bumped into Quan. She said she bumped into Quan at the police station when both of them was getting out. They got out, I guess, around the same time. Right after that, Kelsey says she got to throw up. She leaves the courtroom. We all sitting there like, what in the fuck is going on? She comes back wiping her mouth like maybe she had thrown up. She get back in the stand. They said, what happened after that, Kelsey? She said, after Gilly's house, Gilly dropped me off at the hospital. And so they asked her, what did you know at that point about Megan's injuries? She said, I didn't know anything about her injuries, just that she stepped on glass. They said, did you text Megan? She said, I don't know. She was with her team. So I asked them how she was doing. Then they saying, what happened after that? She said, that's when I got a call from Tori from jail. They played the jail call because anytime they asked questions about what was said on jail call, Kelsey did not recall. It was a blur. So they played it. They said the jail call was the first time she heard from Tori since the incident, and that she tried to call Megan, but she couldn't reach her. They said, and you asked Megan, could you see Megan? And they blew you off, didn't they? She said, yes. And they said, how you feel about that? She said, I was upset because I didn't understand why they was blowing me off. And then she was told, LA is a dangerous place. You should go home. And they booked her a flight back home. So she got on a plane and went home. So she said she was hurt about that. She didn't understand basically why she was being iced out, basically. So she was angry and confused. Kelsey said she subleased her apartment and gave up all her shit because Megan told her, come out here, we got a house. Don't worry about nothing. So all she did was pack a bag and leave. So she didn't have nowhere to stay when she got back. So she had to stay in a hotel for 2 weeks, she said. And then she said that Megan felt bad about it